Hey guys, thank you for watching. I just want to give you one quick personal update about the Strube household, and then we'll get into our devotional for today. And so first of all, we are actually recording this. You might watch it on a different time on Wednesday, July the 29th, which is a very special day because 4 years ago was when Kelly was born. And so today is Kelly's birthday, and so she is 4 years old today. And I remember telling you guys, for the class of teenagers that's getting ready to go into your junior year, I remember when you guys came into the youth ministry, Kelly was about 2 weeks old, and we were telling you guys and we were telling your parents that you guys are going to watch her grow up through the next 6 years that you guys are in the youth ministry. And so you are now 4 years into that, and she is now 4 years old. And so hopefully, God willing, once school stuff kind of gets going again and COVID stuff is somewhat under control, she'll be coming with me to some of the athletic events and different events that you guys do. She gets a big kick out of seeing the big kids, is what she calls you guys as, and so we're really excited about that. But today's a cool day in our family because Kelly is 4 years old today, and so that's something that's really, really cool. So we had a little birthday celebration for her earlier today. And so what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is we are getting ready to go back to school. Things are not necessarily returning to normal. I don't really know what that's going to look like and how long that's going to be, but we are going to get somewhat back into a little bit of our usual routine because school is going to be starting back over the course of the next few weeks and over the course of the next month. And some of you guys are going back in 2 weeks, some in 3, some in 4. But sometime during the month of August, you guys are going to be going back to school. And so usually going back to school means going back to kind of a normal routine. A lot of the things that you guys do over the summertime has been going on, even though it may look a little bit differently. So travel ball, stuff with shebang. I know cheer camp happened. I know it was a little bit different than what it usually is, but cheer camp happened. And so a lot of the stuff that you guys do over the summertime, you've been able to do, but then once school starts back, that kind of starts the normal routine and the daily things that we're used to doing. And so with the routine kind of starting back, what I wanted to do is just take this time again to go, okay, we have been through this huge thing since the beginning, or since the middle part of March, with just everything shutting down, with COVID, with masks, with social distancing, with church kind of stopping, with doing this and not doing Sunday school, Sunday night, Wednesday night, to having to do these kinds of things. And so, by the way, someday real quick, I'm really looking forward to speaking to your face and not speaking to a camera. So I'm really ready to see you guys again. We'll keep doing this as long as we need to, but I'm really ready to see you guys again. And so we've just come through this big thing, and we're getting ready to go back into the normal routine. And so again, and we've mentioned this before, but my encouragement for you guys is this. When we go back into our routine, my encouragement for you guys is this, is don't let things, as we go back into our routine, don't let things go back to normal. Don't let things just go back to the way they were. Don't just kind of get back in the normalcy of everything. And what I mean by that is, let's remember whatever it was that God wanted to have taught us as we've gone through all these different things that we've gone through for the past few months. Whatever it specifically is that God wanted to have taught us, let's learn those lessons. Let's not have gone through all of this stuff and not gotten whatever specifically it is that God wanted to get through to us. And if we miss it and then we get back into our routine and then everything just kind of keeps going again as normal, then it's as though whatever big thing that was that God has for us that He wanted to teach us over the course of the past several months, we've missed it, and it was like we went through it for no reason whatsoever. And so I want to read a quick passage from Ephesians chapter 5, just a few verses. I think that'll help us that can be applied to this situation. It's not talking about COVID, obviously, but I think it can be applied to this. And it says in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 14, and reading a couple of verses, it says, "Wake up, O sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is." And so he's talking to Christians here, and he's encouraging us, don't be unwise, but be wise. Make the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Now, when he says the days are evil, he's not saying Monday's an evil day because it's the start of a new week. He's not saying Monday's evil or something like that. What he means is things are not the way that they are supposed to be in this life where we're living right now. So bad things happen. It's not supposed to be that way. One day, things are going to be the way that they are supposed to be when we get to heaven and when Jesus returns. But he's saying for right now, things are not the way that they are supposed to be. They're evil. So we need to make the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. And then he says something very interesting in verse 17 that I kind of want to focus on. He says, "Don't be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is." Now, this word for foolish basically means if you have something big that's going on, but you don't really consider what is going on or how it could be affecting us, just kind of ignore it and not paying attention to it, even though it's something that's really right there and it's obvious and it's in your face, but just ignoring it, that is what he means by here, saying if there's this big thing that's going on that God has put in front of you and you don't think about it, you don't consider it, you just kind of ignore it and keep going, that's what he means here when he is saying foolish. And what God is telling us here is don't be foolish. And then he says, but understand what the Lord's will is. And so this idea of understand, it's kind of like if you take two different pieces of a puzzle and putting them together and seeing that, hey, this is what the bigger picture is looking like. So when you get this idea of understand, kind of get this picture of observing different things, different pieces of a puzzle, and putting the pieces of the puzzle together to see the big picture of what's going on. And that is what God is encouraging us and actually commanding us to do here in Ephesians chapter 5. And so to apply this to our situation, so let's not be foolish about and ignore, not really think about, okay, what was it that God had for us as we've gone through all of this stuff? But let's understand what God's will is for us as far as, okay, what specific thing can I do? And what specific lesson did God want me to learn so that as my routine is getting ready to pick back up again, especially once school starts, what lesson can I learn, put it into my daily routine, and then once my routine begins, once school picks back up again, what one change can I make and really use to apply to my school year, especially to help me to grow in my relationship with Christ? Just a couple of different examples. Maybe over the course of this past few months, maybe you've realized, and it could be something different for every single one of you guys. It could be, hey, maybe I've realized that my relationship with God, as far as it being a priority in my life, it really, if I was honest with myself, it really was not a priority. It was something that it's not that big of a deal to me, but now I know, man, I need to make it a big deal because I've seen everything that I do care about can be taken away from me, but this is something that can't be taken away from me. And so maybe that's a lesson that God's taught you, or maybe the lesson that God's taught you is another possibility is, you know what? I really need to make it more of a priority of reading God's Word more, being able to understand what God's Word says to me and actually take time to read it and apply it and figure out how I can use it in my everyday life. And I've known from talking to you guys through text or through Instagram, just a lot of you guys are doing things to where you're starting devotional books, you're journaling, you're reading God's Word, I want to encourage you guys to keep that stuff up. Use that in your routine as you go forward. And so those are a couple of possibilities. Maybe it was you've had a friendship with somebody in the past that really that person was not a very good influence on you, and you needed to rethink whether or not they should be really influencing you in your life, and you should be giving time to that person in friendship. Maybe that's that's a lesson that God's taught you. Maybe it's something with your family. Maybe there's something different that you need to do with how you treat your family, or how you treat your parents, or how respectful you need to be to your parents. And so whatever it is for you, it could be any of these four things, or it could be something that's totally different that I haven't mentioned. But whatever it is, don't be foolish in the sense that you don't pay attention or ignore what God has for you, but understand what God's will is for you so that you can use it and apply it and use that as put that in part of your routine, especially over the course of the next few weeks as you guys go back to school. And so, my encouragement for you guys, and my encouragement for your families and for your parents and for me as well and for my family, is that we don't go back to the way that we were. We don't just go back to normal, but that we understand what God's will for us has been, what lesson He would have had for us in the midst of this time, that we apply it, and that we will change, therefore, as a result of it. And so, therefore, it would have been for whatever reason God has for us to go through this past few months that we've gone through, that it will not have been specific, it will not have been for no good. It's just that we went through it. And so, I hope this makes sense. I love you guys, praying for you guys, looking forward to seeing you hopefully soon, and not just talking to a camera. I hope you guys have a great summer. Again, the last couple of weeks of your summer break seems like it's winding down here, and so I hope you guys have a great summer. Hope things go well, and hope you're able to understand what God's will is for you. And so, again, we love you guys. If you see Kelly, or if you think about Kelly, remember it's her birthday, and so she loves you guys too. She loves the big kids. She's looking forward to being around you. And so on behalf of Lindsay and Kelly and Scott and I, we love you guys, and we hope to see you soon. God bless.